This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Colorado Springs, Colorado. We are at Revolution Jewelry Works. Since 2013, they have been providing unique fine jewelry, custom jewelry design for consumers here of Colorado Springs, as well as jewelers across the country. I am here with the owner, the master faceter. Let's begin first of all, Jennifer. You began the company here rather new, now in 2013, but quite honestly, many years before that, even growing up as a child, hanging out with your brothers, you found an appreciation for stones, rocks, fossils, crystals. Share with me how you evolved and got involved in this industry.
Well, I lucked out that my husband was interested in getting into rock hounding with me. And so just after we had gotten married, we went to a place called Crystal Park, Montana. And it's a dig site, so you're guaranteed to find something when you're there. And we came back with about 10 pounds of quartz crystals. And we had an anniversary that came around, and he said, "Why don't we get you a diamond pendant?" And then I said, "I'd rather do something with one of these crystals." And he said, "You should see if you can get it cut." And I thought, I didn't even know that was an option, and asked around to a few different jewelers and was actually introduced to a master cutter here in Colorado Springs. And so after calling him and sitting down over a cup of coffee and talking about how I grew up playing in the rocks, he finally said, "If you like rocks this much, you should learn to cut." And that was the deciding factor. I said, "If you want to teach, I'm more than happy to learn." And I did an apprenticeship with him. He moved me into kind of a journeyman status where I was able to do repairs for his clients through him. And then he turned me loose and he said, "There is nothing that you're going to figure out, so go out and start a business," because he said that he really thought that I could take it somewhere. And I started my business a week after that.
A week after that, you didn't mess around. You just said, "Okay, I'm going to do this." Let me ask you this. Obviously, consumers, we cherish and enjoy our jewelry, not only because of the beauty that it brings us, but also because it's kind of an extension of ourselves. When you formally began this training in 2003, is this kind of an extension of yourself as well?
Absolutely. I always wanted to go the route of, working in media or something like that, but it wasn't my passion. And rocks has always been in the background. And so when I went into the business, I approached it with open arms, and I wanted it to be an educational experience for anyone that worked with me. Just because I knew so much about rocks from actually doing the rock hounding, I was able to identify a lot of things. And I thought that it would be more fun to be able to, as I'm teaching people, why you cut a stone a certain way and why it's better to buy a Western cut stone versus a foreign cut stone, I thought that consumers would appreciate that and have a better appreciation for the jewelry they are buying. And this being my passion, I geek out every time that I get to talk to somebody and teach them something they didn't know.
Wonderful. Teach our viewers, if you will, what a stone faceter does. Are all jewelers stone faceters or vice versa? How does that work?
Absolutely not. There are people that work with metal, and there are people that work with stones, and there are very few that can work with both. And that's why I have a metalsmith here at the studio. My specialty and my primary focus is stone cutting. And I have a fear of fire, and you kind of have to like fire to work with jewelry. But with stone cutting, it's not like you think with the old Snow White movies where the dwarves are, in the mine and they're, clinking with hammers, right? That's how you mine the stones. But when it actually comes to faceting, it's very much like sanding a piece of wood. You start with a really heavy grit, and you do, initial abrasive shaping of the stone, and you move to a finer and finer grit. You start creating the facets, and then you get to where you're doing a high polish, and you have to cut a stone on two different sides. You cut the bottom of the stone first, the pavilion, and then you cut the crown.
That's amazing. I'd be nervous to be working on something that I was afraid I would chip away or do something wrong with. Let me ask you this. One of the things that you're obviously able to help consumers here in Colorado Springs across your counter, you're also able to service jewelers across the country.
Yes, word has gotten out very quickly that there are a few master stone cutters left in the United States. There aren't a lot of us. So much of the work is going overseas, and with that in mind, most people feel that there isn't that sense of accountability when you're shipping something overseas for a repair. And so I've had jewelers all over the country seek me out because they've gotten my name as a referral from another jeweler saying, this is a person that you can trust your gemstones with. And you know, I've had stones worth $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 shipped to me before. You know, on a handshake and a referral, and it speaks volumes. You know, it's very flattering to me that other jewelers think, you know, enough to put my name out there.
Wonderful, definite trust they put in you. Let me ask you this. Obviously, behind every great custom jewelry piece that we see here is a great design. So share with me a little bit about the process of just creating the design in-house.
When we're doing custom design, typically we're working with people who have an idea of something, but they haven't been able to find it anywhere. And that's where we get a starting point. They'll come in and they'll say, well, I saw this design online and I loved it, but you know, there's things that I would change. We've had people go into different jewelry stores and say, well, I like that from that design, I like that from that jeweler, but again, not seeing the culmination of everything. And so we take those ideas and we start sketching. After we've completed a sketch, we move it into a CAD design where we're actually building the architecture of the jewelry digitally. And that way, the person who's making that purchase can actually see a digital rendering that looks very similar to a photograph of what their finished piece could look like. And then, you know, they come in, they go through that approval process, and then it's a matter of getting the wax and creating the piece. But it starts with that rendering and putting those ideas together.
That's amazing. So quite honestly, you're able to build the vision digitally so they can take a look at it and really have some input as far as the piece that it's going along. Once that is completed and done, you can obviously talk about material. I mean, are you able to work in anything, be it gold, silver, platinum, palladium, you name it?
Yes, absolutely. There are certain metals that are more difficult to work with that require a lot more heat for casting. And so in the cases of platinum and palladium, we'll ship to a subcontractor to do the pouring of the metal, but still all of the gemstones stay here on site. And so all of the finishing work, 100% of it is completed here. And that's where people can actually come in, and if they bring in a stone that's a family heirloom and they want to build a custom out of it, they can hold on to that gemstone until the day we're setting. And then when we go to setting, they can actually come and watch in our observation windows as we set that heirloom piece.
Very comfortable for the consumer then. They can easily trust the process in that way. Let me ask you, is it really the goal of your shop when you open to make sure that you have staff that are basically artisans within themselves and really understand and know about this type of work?
I really wanted to be the go-to place for custom, and I wanted to be able to hand-pick every employee based on their skill sets. And so, you know, we've been needing to bring on another jeweler, and it was just a matter of finding the right person to complement not only our personalities, but our skill sets. And that, I think, is really important, that when you're coming here, you know that I've pre-screened everybody. It's not just someone who's taken a little bit of a jewelry training course and kind of knows how to size a ring. These people are artisans that I have seen their work, seen what they can do, and would wholly put my trust and my gemstones in their hands to be worked on.
Your gemstones in their hands. Share with us some of the stones you're able to work with. Just give me a sampling.
I have worked with everything from sphalerite, which is a very, very tender gemstone found here in Colorado, all the way up to diamonds. You can talk about every birthstone, sapphires, rubies, emeralds. The thing that I see the most of when it comes to gemstone repairs is people will have an heirloom ring that'll have a sapphire in it that grandma wore forever, and that sapphire looks almost like a pebble over the top now, and it's just abrasions over time, you know. And so we'll do stone resurfacing, and we're able to return a ring that looks absolutely brand new just by resurfacing that stone and sometimes retipping the prongs. It's a miracle transformation, and it's the kind of thing, anytime we have a project like that come in, we'll post it on our Facebook page because we want people to see what the potential is in those heirloom pieces.
Absolutely. I mean, anymore, we as consumers, we have information abound. Are we curious? I mean, obviously we're investing in our jewelry with dollars, but are we worth investing our time so we really understand what it is that we own?
I think that it's important for people to have a better understanding of what to look for when they are jewelry shopping. You know, I can't assume that everyone is going to buy everything here all the time, but I want to teach people when they come in here the things to look for, so when they're on vacation, that they can make good buying decisions that will make those investments worthwhile.
It must be real, like you said, flattering for you knowing that folks trust you with their work, but also rewarding for you when somebody takes, let's say, a stone of a mother who basically is now passing it on to her daughter and incorporating other stones within this piece that is now an heirloom.
I love doing the refurbishments and reconstruction of pieces using those family stones and creating something that now has more meaning to them. A lot of people will inherit something that just isn't their style, and I want them to be able to keep the heritage of the piece there, but turn it into something they'll love and cherish and enjoy. And one of the big keys for me that makes it so satisfying is that once that piece is finished, I get to have a small part of their life for the rest of their lives, and that I love.
Wonderful. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is her website. On the website, first of all, check out the gallery. Like you say, she loves sharing the photos of actual work that she has been able to produce. And you can also learn more about her team that she has here. Everything pretty much takes place here in-house with your precious stones. And so, like she says, if you want to hold on to them till that very day when they're being set, you can do that as well. And also keep in mind, they've got a link there with some featured artists that they're able to have here in their shop as well. Obviously, like you said, a lot of refurbishing you love doing. What about repair work? Is that something that you specialize in as well?
Absolutely. We have a laser welder here that enables us to do work on filigree jewelry, so inherited pieces that really need to have some TLC paid to them. You know, you put the wrong amount of heat to them and it can actually melt the piece, which I've seen happen, you know, via other jewelers and needed to clean it up. So the laser welder enables us to do that finite, pinpoint work, but we can also do your traditional sizings, rhodium plating, yeah, just a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Is it a benefit to the consumers to have basically work with a designer where you basically have a metalsmith on board with your staff as well?
It's important because you actually get to come in and speak to the person who's going to be working on your jewelry. It's not like sitting down at a big box store that has a lot of salespeople that haven't necessarily had their hands on the jewelry. Whereas here, when you come in, anything that is being done to your jewelry can be explained by the expert who's going to be handling the work. It's a totally different scenario than going in and dealing with a salesperson who can give you the answers that you want to hear, but not necessarily what you need to hear.
Once again, very personal and very customized approach you decided to go with. Obviously, the vision begins in our head of something we want, then it goes on to a CAD. But like you said, it doesn't end there. You really enjoy photographing these pieces, showing people how the design became reality.
We have so much fun with that, especially when it comes to the casting phase, because we'll have people, when we're going to do a custom pour of the metal, and it is gold or silver and it's being done here, they can actually come and watch through our observation window as we're pouring that metal. So when the crucible goes by, you can feel the heat through the glass, but you're in a completely safe environment. We've had a lot of people bring in their children, just because when you're growing up, I was never told I could get into the jewelry business. I was always told you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be an accountant. And counselors in schools don't talk so much about those hands-on jobs that you can have, and they're still very much viable options. And so I want kids to start to get excited about it, because I don't think my generation should be the last generation of great jewelers.
Absolutely. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there for the last time you're going to see her website. The contact information is right there. We're talking about a very customized approach she has taken, brand new for 2013, conveniently located right here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Feel free to reach out to her team, and like you say, when you walk through the doors, basically plan on being educated about your jewelry and understanding what goes into the making and creation of something that you're going to probably pass on as an heirloom for years to come. Check them out on Facebook. You can see all kinds of people that have been very happy with the work as well. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.
Canine Rehabilitation and Conditioning Group leads the industry of animal rehabilitation, and our caring team will help your dog or cat to feel stronger, move better, and get back into the game of life. Our rehabilitation experts are leading the industry of restoring quality of life to geriatric, injured, overweight, post-operative, and neurological or otherwise compromised dogs through physical therapy and integrative veterinary approaches.
Attention! At Major Mom, we are passionate and skilled at decluttering and setting up customized, sustainable systems in a wide variety of households. Major Mom served in the U.S. Air Force with 2 decades of training in order management. Orderly does not mean rigid or inflexible. It means you have room in your brain to think about important things. Major Mom wants you to experience the joy of living and working in an organized and beautifully arranged environment. Providing great service to busy families, we make getting organized fun.
This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Lakewood, Colorado. We're at Mantra Tattoo. Since 2006, they have been providing tattoos, piercing. Colorado's best artists reside here, serving Lakewood as well as the surrounding areas. I'm here with Ben Gunn, who is the owner, also the artist here. Let me ask you, Ben, how did you get started in this type of industry? Have you always been involved in art? Were you doodling as a kid? Share with me a little bit about how this got started.
Sure. How I started in tattooing is basically just love for art, passionate about it, and then eventually, just producing artwork, painting, stuff like that. People reached out to me and started asking me to start doing tattoos on their body, as young as 16 years old, 17, and so I just started to experiment with it back then, and slowly, it turned into this.
Wonderful story. Let me ask you, quite honestly, when we were growing up, 20, 30 years ago, tattooing artists that was kind of behind the scenes, wasn't mainstream like it is now. Why do you think that has evolved like that?
A big part due to just modern television, media. It's reaching out to so many different age groups and just genres of people, and people are becoming more acceptable of it, and seeing that there's such a diversity, they can do every type of art. And culturally, I think it's becoming much more acceptable,
I agree with you, definitely. So let me think about this for a minute. Art, regardless what it is, we're talking about on canvas, on photographic paper, maybe sculpted. It really expresses who that artist is. And quite honestly, there's nothing more personal than putting art on your skin. It's got to be kind of an honor for you when somebody sits in your chair and hands over their body.
Yeah, I would say so. That's probably the biggest part of why I really love to tattoo every day, and why I would say most of these artists do, is because it's such a personal art form, and it does affect people pretty much for the rest of their lives, Leaves one hell of a lasting impression.
Wonderful, and obviously they're putting something on their body that's special to them, and you as an artist, you get to kind of put your flair in that as well. You have quite a few artists here on board. Share with me how many artists in a typical day.
Sure. On a typical day, there's about 4 to 5 of us working, but I have a crew of about 9 of us, and then I have guest spot artists that come in throughout the country, come in, tattoo with us for a week or so. Yeah, between all of us, most of us have been tattooing over 10 years, at least over about 7 years, most of us, and we got a lot of experience in this crew that works here.
Speaking of experience, you have just under one roof here. It really kind of gives more options or varieties to the folks that walk in the door, because I imagine your styles are probably all very different.
Yeah, that's true. I try to really have a crew of versatile artists and people that like to specialize in all types of styles and forms of artwork. A couple of us really enjoy doing new school stuff, Asian artwork. I got a couple guys that really love to do black and gray, realism. So we got a crew that kind of can take care of any client across the board.
Wonderful. One of the reasons I believe tattooing shops have really gone more mainstream, more accepted out there, is the fact that they seem to be a lot more professional than they were 10, 15 years ago. Not only that, but safety-wise, what do you guys basically do to make sure safety is number one with your clients?
Okay, so our shop is regulated by Jefferson County Health Department, and we just make sure that every day, all year round, we're taking care of. Number one is keeping our equipment clean and safe, and making sure every client that comes in here is getting the best tattoo, the best work, and the safest and cleanest procedures, And they come in yearly, they inspect us, and we've had nothing but A+.
Wonderful. Obviously, testimonials across the board out there on the web. You mentioned before you have some guest artists that come in as well. What about yourself? Are you able to get out there in the country and go about and share some of your art as well?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I do. I try to at least every couple months. I try to get out, go tattoo with a couple other artists at different shops, and try to be a part of the convention circuit as much as I can. Also, a couple other artists in here do it as well. I tattoo out in Las Vegas quite a bit, and occasionally in California, and wherever else I can get out to.
So you're out there in Vegas, California. Obviously, they've got trade shows and whatnot. Do you find yourself being always inspired by other people's art?
Oh, definitely. That's a big part of hitting the road and tattooing with different groups of guys. Is you learn so much different technique and just how to approach things and art styles. It helps you grow as an artist.
Wonderful. Not only is ink basically the only medium here beautifying, but we're talking about piercings as well. You guys are able to do that, put some bling on the body. Share with me the person who does that for you.
Sure, Luke Horton. He's our piercer. We just have one, but he's excellent, and he's really passionate about it. And he not only does he just do standard piercings, but he develops a lot of his own styles and creates some of his own jewelry. And we use only the best jewelry we can on everybody, and he's a pretty busy guy.
So not only are they able to come in and actually get that done, but you've also got jewelry available in-house for people to purchase.
Right, yeah. We have a wide selection of it, which, you guys can show on film.
Excellent. Folks, if you take a look at the bottom of the screen right there, what you're going to see is their website. We've been enticing you with some great art right there on the screen. Obviously, Ben started this with a passion of basically realizing he could do something rather unique, and folks lined up and started saying, hey, I want to be in the chair next, and so that's how it gets started. It's a great story. Check out right there online. You can also book an appointment right there as well. Check out the different artists they have. Sometimes they've got some guest artists. They taken part in a lot of events here in the local area as well. And speaking of setting up an appointment, how important is a consultation on the front end? Is that what you normally require?
We don't require it, but I would recommend it. Yeah, if people want to get into some new art, best thing to do is contact us through the phone or come on into the shop. And just give us an idea of what you're thinking about, and we can sit down right there. We can take a break from our appointment if we need to, and just start to talk about it and get it figured out for them, and get them an appointment scheduled. And then from there, we just start to develop the whole tattoo.
Someone out there who's never been done before, you got a clean slate, clean canvas, a little nervous about coming in. Are you able to sit with them, talk them through, and take it step by step?
Oh yeah, definitely. We have a lot of clients that come in for their first tattoos, so we're familiar with that situation, and we know how to ease into it with you, and just try to help you figure out the best tattoo for getting started. Some people, they start with something small. Some people go for the big stuff and start a whole back piece for their first tattoo. So it all depends, and we can fill out the situation and see basically what you want to go for.
So be it a first tattoo or your last tattoo or the next one in line, these guys can pretty much take care of for you. We're talking about years and years of experience under one roof, multiple artists out there. And basically this was something that started as a one guy going out there putting some ink together, and obviously you still have a great passion for it, and so that's what makes it a great lifestyle. That is Mantra Tattoo. Their phone number's right on the bottom of the screen again. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know. Until next time, if you know of a business who you feel the whole city should know about, nominate them, we'll send a reporter out. This is Gary Atencio from CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.